I killed my brother years ago. One day, when I was 15 years old, I went over to my friend's house. While I was gone, my brother went into my room and played my PlayStation. I don't know what happened, but when I came home, I saw my PlayStation controller on my bedroom floor and it was broken. I was so mad that I yelled, "What the fuck?" And my brother must have heard me, so he came out of his room and attempted to explain to me what happened, but I didn't care. I wanted payback on that little fucker. So I pushed him out of the way and went to his room and grabbed his pet hamster out of its cage. Then I took the hamster into the bathroom and closed and locked the bathroom door. My brother was pounding on the door and screaming the whole time as I put his hamster in the toilet and flushed it. I then came out of the bathroom and pushed my brother up against the wall and told him not to fuck with my stuff or there will be consequences. I also told him that he better not tell our parents or I'll make him pay for it. He said that he was going to tell our parents, so I punched him in the gut and pulled him into the living room. Then I pushed him down on the floor and pulled his shorts down. Then I took my leather belt off and whipped him repeatedly with my belt. Then I flipped him over so he was laying face down and I grabbed the television remote that was laying nearby and I shoved it deep into his rectum and held it there. Then I got down on top of him and told him that if he tells our parents, I will do worse than this. Then I pulled the remote out of him and threw it on the floor. I told my brother to go into his room and stay there. At that point it was only 5 p.m. and our parents weren't due back until around 9 p.m. since they both worked late. I went into my room and watched some television and I heard my brother crying nonstop from his bedroom. I got so annoyed with it that I went to his room and told him to shut the fuck up. He was crying uncontrollably and he told me that he hated me and he was going to tell our parents. I told him, "You better not, you little shit." And then he ran past me and out of the room, but just as he reached the stairs I pushed him and he fell and hit his head on the wall at the bottom and I heard his neck snap. Realizing what I just did, I ran downstairs to see if he was still alive. He wasn't. My brother was dead. I panicked and figured that I was fucked, but then I thought of something. I could just tell my parents he fell, I thought to myself. So I called 911 and then eventually an ambulance came and pronounced my brother dead on the scene. My parents came home shortly afterwards and saw my brother being taken out in a body bag. They both cried frantically at the sight. I told my parents that he fell down the stairs and I just found him after hearing the noise. They believed my lie. My parents' relationship was never the same after the death of my brother. My mother blamed my father for his death and eventually their relationship deteriorated so much that they ended up getting a divorce. My mother moved out and I never saw her again. I lived with my father for about 6 months and eventually he committed suicide because of all that had happened at that point. I was then sent to live with my uncle and he raped me in the shower every day and made me do heroin with him, with shared needles. When I was 17 years old, I ran away from my uncle's house because I couldn't take the man's abuse anymore. I lived on the streets for a while until I eventually fell in with a local gang of drug dealers. They had me sell drugs for them and I didn't really care because I needed money to feed the heroin addiction that I picked up from living with my uncle. I still sell drugs on the street for the dealers to this day, and I recently started dating a 34-year-old prostitute. I'm now 19 years old.